Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when we are faced with disrespect. Words spoken with arrogance, actions that belittle, attitudes that challenge our dignity. Our first instinct: react, fight back, defend ourselves loudly. But today I want to speak to you about something even more powerful: staying quiet after disrespect. Now, staying quiet is not about weakness. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing strength over noise. It's about knowing your worth without needing to prove it. It's about keeping your peace, because not every battle deserves your energy. When someone disrespects you, they are showing you who they are, not who you are. And when you stay silent, you rise above their chaos. You take back control. Silence speaks volumes. It says, I won't lower myself to your level. I know who I am. Let the world say what it wants. Let small minds talk. But protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Stay quiet. Not out of fear, but out of power. In a world that constantly demands a reaction, silence can feel unnatural. When someone disrespects you, calls you out, undermines you, or speaks to you in a condescending tone, your instincts may scream for you to speak up, defend yourself, retaliate, or make a point. Society often teaches us that being vocal is the only way to assert our power, and that silence is equivalent to surrender. But the truth is quite the opposite. Silence, when chosen deliberately, is one of the most powerful responses you can offer. It is not born from fear or submission. It is born from understanding. It is the decision to rise above the moment, to not allow someone else's behavior to dictate your own. When you remain silent in the face of disrespect, you are not giving up your voice, you are choosing not to waste it. True strength lies in restraint. It's easy to lash out. It's easy to argue, to shout back, to let your emotions take control. But it takes far more strength to pause, to breathe, and to say nothing. Not because you don't have anything to say, but because you know that saying it won't serve your higher self. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing the other person to sit with their actions without your energy feeding their fire. Silence also provides space for clarity, for reflection, and for dignity. It allows you to observe, to assess whether a response is even worth your time, and to maintain your composure when others lose theirs. When you respond with silence, you are not ignoring the disrespect, you are acknowledging it silently while choosing not to let it control your peace. This kind of strength doesn't shout. It doesn't seek validation. It doesn't prove anything to anyone. And yet, it says everything. One of the most freeing truths you can embrace is this: you do not owe anyone a reaction. Not every insult, slight, or passive-aggressive remark deserves your attention. We often feel pressure to respond when someone disrespects us, as if staying silent somehow means we're weak, complicit, or unaware. But in reality, not reacting is a conscious and courageous choice. Disrespect is often a baited trap set by people who want to pull you into their chaos. When you respond impulsively, you step into their arena, playing by their rules. You match their energy even if it's beneath you. And in that moment, they win not because they were right, but because they stole your peace and made you step out of character. But here's the thing. You are not required to participate in every confrontation you're invited to. Just because someone disrespects you doesn't mean you must respond. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to correct every lie or defend your name in every room. Your character, your truth, and your values do not depend on someone else's understanding or acceptance of them. Walking away, ignoring, or choosing to say nothing can feel counterintuitive, especially if you're used to standing up for yourself. But sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is to withhold your energy. Not because you're afraid, but because you've grown. You've realized that peace is priceless, and not everyone deserves access to your attention. Disrespect says a lot about the one who gives it. Your silence, your stillness, and your refusal to engage says even more about you, that you have the wisdom to know what's worth your energy and what isn't. When someone disrespects you, it's natural to take it personally. Words can cut deep, and actions meant to belittle can leave a lasting sting. But one of the most important things to remember in those moments is this: their behavior is a reflection of who they are, not who you are. What people say or do in moments of anger, envy, or insecurity often has far more to do with their internal battles than with anything you've done. Disrespect usually stems from unresolved pain, ego, or lack of self-awareness. A confident, grounded, and emotionally healthy person doesn't feel the need to tear others down. They don't mock, belittle, or attack people they don't understand. That kind of negativity comes from someone who is projecting their own frustrations, fears, or inadequacies onto you. So when you're on the receiving end of disrespect, it's important to pause and shift your perspective. Ask yourself, what must this person be going through to act like this? It doesn't excuse the behavior, but it helps you realize that the insult isn't a mirror of your worth. It's a window into their mindset. It's a silent admission of their own pain or bitterness. Think about it this way: if someone throws mud at you, it says more about the mud in their hands than the target they aim for. You don't become dirty by their attempt unless you engage with it. You don't become small because someone tried to make you feel that way. Their words are not definitions, they're projections. The moment you stop internalizing disrespect is the moment you take back your power. You realize you don't have to absorb someone else's negativity. You don't have to wear their opinion like it fits you. People may speak about you from their limited point of view, but you are not obligated to shrink just to fit inside their narrow frame. And when you truly know your value, their behavior doesn't rattle you, it reveals them. There is a quiet kind of wisdom in knowing when to say nothing. In a world where everyone is quick to clap back, to defend, to respond, choosing silence can feel unnatural. But silence, when rooted in self-awareness, is not avoidance, it's not weakness. It's protection, a barrier you place between your inner peace and the chaos that tries to disturb it. When someone disrespects you, especially intentionally, they are often seeking a reaction. They want to rattle you, to pull you into their emotional storm. And the moment you react impulsively, you give them what they were after: your attention, your energy, your peace. It becomes less about the initial act of disrespect and more about how it derailed your mindset. But when you stay quiet, when you pause and choose not to feed the noise, you're choosing to value your mental and emotional space over temporary satisfaction. You're saying, my peace matters more than proving a point. You're saying, I won't let someone else's dysfunction become mine. Peace is not something that just happens, it's something you protect. And sometimes that protection looks like silence. It looks like walking away from conversations that only exist to drain you. It looks like not replying to the message designed to provoke you. It looks like choosing stillness over defensiveness. Silence gives you room to think, to breathe, to rise above the moment. It allows you to assess situations with clarity instead of reacting from a place of wounded pride. It puts space between you and the trigger, which is often all you need to stay centered. That space, that small, quiet gap, is where your peace lies. You see, the world around you may be loud, messy, and even cruel at times. But peace isn't something you find out there. It's something you build inside, and silence is one of its strongest foundations. Not all boundaries need to be loud. Not every line you draw in your life has to come with an announcement or an argument. Sometimes the most powerful boundary you can set is your silence, your calm, intentional choice to disengage, to step back, or to simply not respond. When someone disrespects you, they're testing your limits. They want to see what you'll tolerate, how far they can go, and whether they can provoke you into playing their game. And when you don't take the bait, when you stay quiet, it sends a clear message: you will not be entertained. Your energy is not available for disrespect. Your self-respect is not up for negotiation. Silence can say what words sometimes cannot. It communicates, this behavior is not worth my time. This conversation no longer serves me. I will not stay where I am not valued. And you don't have to yell that. You don't have to explain it or justify it. You just have to live it with calm, unwavering stillness. What makes this boundary so powerful is that it's not about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. It's about choosing to preserve your dignity instead of defending it. It's about stepping into emotional maturity, where your worth is not defined by how loudly you fight back, but by how confidently you walk away. The absence of your words can be louder than any argument. When you stop replying to someone who thrives off disrespect, they're forced to sit with their own echo. They begin to realize that their power over you only existed when you kept engaging. When you stop feeding it, it fades. And most importantly, silence spares you from the emotional mess that comes with confrontation. It allows you to protect your peace, your time, and your energy without having to explain why. You simply create space. You simply choose stillness. And in doing so, you're telling the world that your boundaries are sacred, even if they're quiet. There is a kind of power that doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't argue. It doesn't try to convince, prove, or beg to be understood. That power is found in walking away calmly, confidently, and without a backward glance. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do in the face of disrespect is to remove yourself entirely. People often think that strength means standing your ground in every situation, debating until you've made your point clear. But true strength lies in knowing when a space, a person, or a conversation no longer deserves your presence. Walking away isn't giving up. It's recognizing that your time, your energy, and your peace are too valuable to be wasted in places where you are not seen or respected. When someone disrespects you, they may expect a fight. They may expect to get under your skin, to pull you into an emotional reaction. That reaction gives them control. It gives them the satisfaction of knowing they've affected you. But when you choose instead to walk away, you reclaim your power. You let your absence speak for you. Walking away is a silent statement that says, I do not need to stay in spaces that dishonor me. I do not owe you an explanation. I do not need to fight to prove my worth. You take your dignity with you, and you leave behind only your silence, the silence that echoes far louder than any shouted words ever could. And it's not just about the moment, it's about the message. When you walk away, you teach others how to treat you. You make it clear that you have boundaries, that your self-respect has limits, and that you will not tolerate anything less than what aligns with your values. Over time, people begin to realize if they want access to you, they must show up with respect. Walking away is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's the art of letting go, not out of anger, but out of understanding that some battles are beneath you, some situations are unworthy of you, and some people only learn when you stop showing up. In a world that constantly pushes us to react, to defend, and to fight for our worth, choosing silence can feel like going against the current. But there is strength in that stillness. There is clarity in restraint. And there is